welcome to our very first YouTube video channel. What are we called again? Cat and Mommy's Science Blast. Very good. So because this is our first video, we decided we were going to choose 5 people, right? 5 random people. So if you like, what do they have to do again?
Like this video.
Like this video.
And give a thumbs up.
Give a thumbs up. Subscribe to us. Oh, and also give a shout out to your most favorite teacher at Del Rio Middle School, because I'm sure they would love to hear about you.
And share with your friends.
Yes, and share with your friends. Maybe they might learn something from us. So these are a couple of the cool things that we're giving away. We will sanitize them before we mail off to you. But all you have to do is subscribe and everything else we said.
And you can get this cool llama.
We have a llama. What else do we have?
We have a keychain skeleton.
Ooh.
If you like Mama Coco.
If you like Mama Coco. And what else?
I like Tata.
And it says, have a nice day. And then what's that one?
A leaf.
A leaf. And it says, chin up, friend. I believe in you. So these are all the cool things.
And a dove.
Oh, yeah. And it says, Taekwondo. And that's a cool little magnet to put on your fridge.
And this one says,
hello, I'm awesome. Are you pretty awesome? Heck yeah.
What's this green stuff?
I don't know. I think you got a little dirty. All right. So today we're going to be learning about 3 really cool things. Uh-oh. I think I only have 2 pieces of paper. Oh, here's my 3rd one. Found it.
Remember I hate it?
Yeah, I remember. All right. So our very first one is called weathering. We got weathering. Our next one is called erosion. And then our last one is called, oh, I have it upside down. Deposition. So what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about all these things. But the very first one we're going to be talking about is weathering.
Weathering.
So in weathering, we have how many kinds of weathering? Do you remember?
2.
2 kinds of weathering. Very good. We have mechanical weathering.
Mechanical weathering.
And we also have chemical weathering.
Chemical weathering.
So basically what weathering is we get a piece of rock, right? And it breaks apart. And nothing happens to the rock besides it turns into little pieces, smaller pieces. But the rock itself, the composition of the rock, nothing changes to it. So we have a couple examples of that, right? So the first one, Kat made a really cool video outside. So you can tune in, and right now we're gonna show that video. Are you there ready? Yeah, you're gonna break some stuff outside, right? Yeah. All right, and then we'll come right back to the next kinds of weathering.
Thumbs up. Hi guys, so we're doing physical weathering and safety first. So let's see what happens if I throw this rock on the road. You think it's gonna break, or you think nothing's happening? Like turns to little stones when it breaks, or nothing happened and no little stones? Whoa, guys! Look how much pieces that is. Look how much pieces are right there. I broke it. Want to see what happens if I throw this piece? Whoa!
Hey guys, so we hope you like her experiment outside, but as you saw, she was using her what? Goggles, safety goggles. So let's make sure to always use our safety goggles whenever using any experiments, right? Because we don't want to get rock in our eyes, do we? No. All right, so here comes the next one. So one of the things that we're talking about is in mechanical weathering, they have all kinds of forms of agents, right? Kind of like spy agents, stuff like that. One of the first ones, you want to show them? Here you go. It's moving water. Whoopsie daisy. So we have moving water. You want to show them your water? So a lot of times you'll have rocks underneath the ocean, underneath lakes, rivers, ponds, things like that. And so this moving water that's all flowing through it is chipping away at the rocks, because water going at fast forces can actually cause some harm. So these rocks are going to tumble around and they usually end up smoothing out. Did you know that? No? And so when they chip away and chip away, that is a form of physical weathering because nothing happens to it besides it breaking apart. Very good. Now another one, you want to show them the little sediment at the bottom? You want to show them?
At the bottom.
See, it has a little bit of dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, there you go. Another kind of weathering is wind. Do you want to show them how the wind goes? Go this way and go how the wind goes. You want to show?
First, can I get one of the little like pink or color piece of paper?
Oh yeah, look, it's right over there. She's gonna show you wind real quick. All right, how does wind go? Whoa! I don't think you guys saw that, but that piece of paper went flying. You want to come more this way? Wind! Very good.
Wait, let me show you one more time. That one was
Okay. One more time. Wind! Okay, now give me that piece and let me try something. All right, now sit there. Now, say I have one little grain of sand. Hold on. If I have one little grain of sand and it hits you, is it gonna hurt?
It doesn't have my glasses on, Sammy.
But what if we have a lot of pieces of sand flying at a velocity of 50 miles per hour? Do you think it's gonna hurt if you get them all at the same time?
With my safety goggles.
Okay, with your safety goggles. Oh, she's gonna let me do it to her. Okay, so we have all these pieces of wind, right? And so the wind picks up this sand and it carries it on and it's gonna hit some rocks. And that one little piece of sand, did it hurt? No. But do you think this one might hurt? Oh, I feel so bad hitting her. Okay, here it goes. All the pieces. Here, are you ready? Come over here so all your viewers can see you. All right, give me your face. Look at them. What did they?
That didn't hurt at all.
Usually, if it goes at like 50, 60 miles per hour, it hurts really bad. So what happens is you
now I'm gonna throw it at you.
Oh no, please don't.
Yeah.
All right, so this is gonna be my big rock.
What? I'm gonna throw it at you.
How about you throw it to this big rock? So this is my big rock, right?
I'm gonna throw it at.
No, and get all the little pieces, and you want to throw it to the big rock. Can you do that for me?
Okay.
To the big rock, little lady. To the big rock. So what's gonna happen? All right, take a seat. Take a seat. So what's gonna happen is with the big rock, with these bunches of pieces of sand in the wind, it's gonna make the rock chip away. Oh, and here comes some more wind. I swear I got her started on the wrong part. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get blasted all night long. So this is another form of physical weathering, is the wind. And the wind is gonna chip away at it.
Whoa, you!
Wait, I need your help for this next one. Because the wind, we're done with the wind. Put all the wind over there. Oh, I knew it was coming one last time. All right, here comes the last one. Are you ready for the next one? Your subscribers want to know more about it. They're already messaging in. They're like, hey, stop playing around. All right, the next one we have is... Okay, put it all over there.
Okay.
I had to put her in her place so it's not, oh Lord. Oh my goodness, I knew I was going to get hit with a big rock. Get over here. Get over here. Get over here. All right, I'm going to have to put a timeout on this. This cat is going to have to get put back in her cage. Get over here. Get over here. Hi guys, welcome back. So my little assistant Kathy decided to go downstairs to eat some mac and cheese because she was hungry. I told her I'd meet her in a little bit. So let me just finish up with here so I can go back downstairs and eat some mac and cheese with her. All right? So another agent of mechanical weathering are plant and animal activity. So sometimes you'll have some big animals or even not so big animals stomp all over the ground. They'll break the rocks, things like that. And the rocks, again, this is a form of mechanical, also known as physical weathering, where it'll break down the rocks into smaller pieces of rock or sediment, things like that. Another one you can see is through the rocks. So sometimes the rocks will have cracks, just like this one here. Oh, my little plant died. So you'll have cracks in the rocks, and eventually soil will be carried through the wind and it will fall into these cracks. The rain will come down, water will go in there, and sometimes little plants will come out. Now this is another form because what happens is the roots will kind of like find a way to make their home, and with the roots growing, it's actually going to make the rock crack. crack more and more, and little by little it'll break apart. So that's another form of physical, also known as mechanical weathering. We talked about the water, how it runs under in the ocean or in lakes, and how it chips away at the rocks as well. We talked about wind, with Cat hitting me with all the pieces of sand. Another really good form is the temperature. So the temperature changes. So you'll have a piece of rock, and say in the desert, it's 120 degrees. So the rock is going to be exposed to very, very hot temperatures. And then in the nighttime, it's going to be exposed to really cold temperatures sometimes. So the dramatic increase of temperature from really hot to really cold is actually going to weaken the rock. And by weakening the rock, everything that's exposed is usually going to like chip away with wind, with the rain and things like that. So it makes it less strong. So that's another form, is the temperature changes. Now, one that I think is pretty cool and pretty interesting is ice. Ice can break rock. Now you're thinking, wait, what? That sounds kind of weird. Now, one of these ways is through glaciers. So you know glaciers are these big pieces of ice, and sometimes these glaciers move, and when they move, they can even scrape at the rock at the bottom, and it can break it. So that makes sense. Now, another way is when it rains. So say it rains, and water comes into this crack, and say this rock is in the desert, where it freezes at night in this desert. What's going to happen is it's going to make an ice wedge. So I'm going to do a quick little demonstration on how this happens, okay? All right, so stay with me here. What I have here is a cup of water. Let's see if y'all can see it, right? Just water, plain water. What I'm going to do is I am going to get some food coloring, some red food coloring, and I am going to drop just a couple bits of drips in there. So have y'all ever seen those, oops, maybe that was more than 3 drops. Have y'all ever seen those cooking shows where it's basically magic cooking? They have all this batter and they put it in the oven, and 2 minutes later they take it out and the cake is fully baked. Well, we're gonna do the same thing in science. So as you can see, the water mixes in, makes like a little reddish pink color. And what we're going to do is we are going to make this freeze. So I have, in science, our magic cooler here, and it freezes water so quickly. Let me see if I can open this up first. Oh no. Oh, I'll put it right there. All right, I'm gonna open up this bad boy. There we go. And I'm gonna put it in here and freeze it. You think it's gonna freeze? Let's hope. All right, so I gotta close it. I'm gonna do my abracadabra and pa-boom. All right, abracadabra, make this water freeze. Boom, let's see if it's frozen. All right, it did work. And here it is. Oh no, something happened too. Check this out. All right, so this is the water that we just froze, and look what just popped off. Isn't that crazy? So if you can see here, it kind of expanded. So that's what happens with water, is when water freezes, it expands. So that's what happened to this thing. It broke off. Nothing else broke it off besides the water freezing, which is pretty cool. You see how it kind of like protruded there? So what's gonna happen to rock when water gets in the crevices and it freezes overnight? It's gonna break. So that's another form of physical weathering. So water is gonna come into here, it's gonna freeze overnight, and it's gonna expand when it gets frozen, and that's what's gonna make the rocks break. So that's another form, and that's the ice wedging. So those are all the different kinds of physical weathering. Now chemical weathering is really interesting. So with chemical weathering, we actually have a couple here that make chemical weathering happen. So we have carbon dioxide, water vapor, and oxygen. So what's really interesting is in our air, in our atmosphere, we have carbon dioxide. So when it rains, the carbon dioxide actually gets into the rainwater, dissolves into the rainwater, and it makes it a little acidic. So when it touches a rock, it has, I think it's called carbonization. It kind of breaks it away. So that water is breaking away at the rock. So that's a form of chemical weathering because it's actually changing the composition of the rock. I am actually going to show you a pretty cool demonstration on that. Alright, so what I have here are some limestone. So limestone is a form of rock. They're pretty interesting. So I got some big chunks right here. And what I did already, and let me get some more pieces. Let's see if I can get some extra pieces. Is I put them in this dish. And what I did is I put some liquid vinegar in there. So what I'm gonna have here is I have my dish. I have my vinegar, just regular vinegar. I think this one was from like 1990 because it's super duper old. And I am going to have a little dropper. And I'm gonna add some extra vinegar in here. I'm gonna see if you guys can hopefully see this reaction. So you know how sometimes when you make that volcano, you get vinegar and baking soda together and it makes a pretty cool chemical reaction? Well, that's the same process it does with limestone. However, it takes a while and it ends up breaking it apart. Like, oops, I'm gonna see if y'all can see these. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Oh, maybe not so much. There we go. So you see all those little bubbles in the sediment? So the vinegar is breaking away at the limestone and it's making it into little pieces of sediment. And that's what's happening. So that's a form of chemical weathering. Now, all of this ties together. I promise, and we're almost done because I am really hungry for some mac and cheese. So the last thing I want to show you is how all of them come together. So you have your weathering and you have your mechanical and you have your chemical, and we show different examples of each one. Now, what's really cool is you have all these rocks breaking down. When it gets washed away by wind, by water, or anything like that, that's called erosion. So breaking it down is weathering. Moving it from one location to the next is called erosion. And when it finally settles in its new place, that's called deposition. So my last little demonstration I'm going to show you is how you can see all of those come together. Okay? So we have weathering, we have erosion, and we have deposition, the 3 stages. So in this case, we're going to say that this is rock that has already been broken down into fine little pieces, okay? So we have our rock here, which is just salt. And you see some of it, it's already taken away. That's by the wind. Now let's say it begins to rain. So what's going to happen? So if I pour some water, let's see if y'all can see it. If I pour some water into here, you can see how it's going to flood it. So the first one is the weathering. And you're going to have the weathering. And the second stage is erosion. So the water is actually making it go to the next place. And let's see. And it's all salt water for right now. And the last one is deposition. So that's its new place. That's all the new salt, sediment in this case, where that's going to be its new home. So that is, in a nutshell, what weathering, erosion, and deposition is all about. So again, weathering, you have 2 forms. You have mechanical and you have physical, or mechanical and physical are the same. That's one. And the other one is chemical, which is right here. So it's just breaking down of rock into sediment. The next one is erosion, which is the movement and the transferring of it through the wind, through the water, things like that. And the last one is deposition. It's basically its new home of this new sediment. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys learned something. And again, please like, subscribe to our channel. And next time I promise to feed Kat before we do our video so she can be here for the whole video. All right, thanks guys. Hope you all have a great day.